குட் ஈவினிங், எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். தமிழ் பாரம்பரியத்தின் மாதாந்திர நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு உங்களை அனைவரையும் வரவேற்கிறேன். இன்றைக்கி ஹெரிட்டேஜ் ஆஃப் அடையார் பற்றி மிஸ்டர் வெங்கடேஷ் பேச போகிறார். எல்லாருக்கும் எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் ஏற்கனவே அறிமுகமானவர். கூவம் பற்றி பேசியிருக்கார் ஒரு தடவை. பிஃபோர் வி ஸ்டார்ட் த ப்ரோக்ராம், தமிழ் பாரம்பரியத்தோட எங்களோட ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸை பற்றி ஃபியூ வேர்ட்ஸ். இது எங்களோட மாதாந்திர கூட்டம் ஒவ்வொரு சனிக்கிழமையும் மாதம் முதல் சனிக்கிழமை, ஒவ்வொரு மாதமும் முதல் சனிக்கிழமை இதே அரங்கில் நடைபெறுகிறது 5:30 மணிக்கு. கட்டணம்லாம் ஒன்றும் இல்லை. வெரைட்டி ஆஃப் டாபிக்ஸ் வி கவர். ஆர்ட், ஆர்கிடெக்சர், டெம்பிள், ஓவியம், சிற்பம், ஹிஸ்ட்ரி, மேத்தமேட்டிக்ஸ், அஸ்ட்ரானமி எல்லாம் கவர் பண்ணுறோம். எனிதிங் ரிலேட்டட் டு இந்தியன் ஹெரிட்டேஜ், கல்ச்சர், சயின்ஸ் we cover. That is one of our things that we do. We also have every year we do a site seminar. ஒரு cultural place எடுத்துட்டு we go and spend 1 week there. We have been doing it for several years now. 7th site seminar நினைக்கிறேன் இது 7th or 8th site seminar. We started with Mahabalipuram, we did Pudukkottai, Ajanta, Ellora, Gujarat, Tirunelveli. This year in coming January we are doing Bhubaneswar. Group of 40 people, we go there, we spend 1 week there looking at temples. In the year pretty much everything is closed, but if you are interested in participating in the next year program, you can contact us. There will be ஒரு email circulation sheet வரும். If you write your name and address, we will send you mails about our program. So இது ரெண்டாவது. மூணாவது we have something called a பேச்சு கச்சேரி, which we organize in the month of December. Right around the music time, ஒரு theme எடுத்துட்டு we organize talks on it for a couple of days. இந்த year theme Mahabalipuram. So we cover all aspects of Mahabalipuram. And the பேச்சு கச்சேரியோட program design is currently going on. இன்னொரு few weeksல we will announce the schedule. It will be like a 2-day event. Morning and afternoon sessions இருக்கும். And it's a continuous event thinking about Mahabalipuram. That's one of the programs that we do. Other than that, we do small programs for schools and things like that as well. With that, I ask Ramki to introduce the speaker of the evening.
Good evening. கிரேசி மோகனை சொல்லுவாங்க 30 செகண்டில் ஒரு 6 ஜோக் சொல்லுவார் அப்படின்ட்டு. ஸோ அப்படியான ஒரு பர்சனாலிட்டி நம்மகிட்ட இங்கே இருக்கார் வெங்கடேஷ். அவர் ஜோக் பாயில் வரலாறு தகவல் அப்படியே கொட்டும். நீங்கள் பார்க்க போகிறீங்க. நீங்கள் நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒரு 1 ஹவருக்கு அவர்கிட்ட எப்படி ஒரு ஸ்பான்டேனியஸாக இந்த அளவுக்கு வரப்போகுது அப்படிங்கிறத நீங்கள் பார்க்க போகிறீங்க. வெங்கடேஷ் எனக்கு ஒரு 10 வருஷமாக தெரியும். பொன்னியின் செல்வன் குரூப்பில் ஒரு முக்கியமான ஃபவுண்டர். அவர் நிறைய ட்ரிப்ஸ் அழைச்சிட்டு போயிருக்காருங்களா. நாங்கள் 2ஆம் யாத்திரை போயிருக்கோம். இப்போ சமீபத்தில் இந்த சென்னை ஃப்ளட்டெல்லாம் வர்றதுக்கு முன்னாடியே நமக்கு கூவம் கரையோரம் நாங்கள் நிறையா ட்ரிப்ஸ் போயிருக்கோம். ஸோ நீங்கள் அவர் பேசும்போதே உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் அந்த அளவுக்கு ஒரு உற்சாகத்தோட எல்லா தகவலையும் லிங்க் பண்ணி சொல்லுவார். நிச்சயமாக இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு மறக்க முடியாத நிகழ்வாக இருக்குன்னு நான் நிச்சயமாக நம்புகிறேன். தேங்க்யூ.
Good evening. I just pray that the laptop cooperates till the end because we just changed the laptop now. First work பண்ணல. This is basically a local history event. சோழ சேர பாண்டியர்லாம் ஒரு 10 வருஷம் முன்னாடி ராம்கி நாங்களாம் யாகு குரூப்பில் பொன்னியின் செல்வன் யாகு குரூப்பில் we are all so involved in that. Can't really relate. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கணக்கு வரப்போ தான் இந்த local history has become a எப்படி இருக்குன்னா ஹவு மச் யூ கேன் ரிலேட்டுங்கிறதுக்கு இன்றைக்கி வி ஸ்ரீராம் ரோட் ஆர்டிக்கல் இன் ஹிந்து டுடே அபவுட் ராஜேஸ்வரி கல்யாண மண்டபம் ஹவு இட் சேஞ்ச் ஹேண்ட்ஸ்னு. த பார்ட்டி விச் ஓன்ட் இட் இன் த மிடில், த தேவகோட்டா ஹவுஸ் பார்ட்டி இஸ் மை ஆன்செஸ்டர். அண்ட் ஸ்ரீராம் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் மை கிளாஸ்மேட்ஸ் ஃப்ரம் எல்கேஜி. அதனால் ஸ்ரீராம் நம்மளை பற்றி பேசியிருக்கான் அப்படின்னு நினச்ச உடனே கால் மீ. என்ன ஸ்ரீராம் அப்படின்னா இசட் உங்கள் வீட்டில் யாரோ பைத்தியம் இருந்தாங்களா அப்படின்னா. நான் என்னத்தை கேட்குறேன்னு எப்போ கேட்குறேன் அப்படின்னா இல்லை உங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு அந்த ராஜேஸ்வரி கல்யாணத்துக்கு பின்னால் வீட்டில் பிரபா ஸ்ரீதேவன் க்ரூ அப் த ஜஸ்டிஸ் க்ரூ அப் டெய்லி யாரோ வந்து நைட் கத்துவாங்களா, somebody was mad, யாருன்னு கேளு அப்படின்னா. இது அடுத்த வாட்டி ராதாகிருஷ்ணன் ரோடு வாக் போகிறப்ப வெங்கடேஷோட சொந்தக்கார ஒருத்தர் பைத்தியக்காரன் இருந்தான்னு சொல்லிடுவோம். தட் இஸ் த லோக்கல் ஹிஸ்ட்ரி பார்ட் ஆஃப் இட். யூ கேன் ரிலேட் அண்ட் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் இப்போ தான் விசாரிச்சுட்டு இருக்கேன் யார். திஸ் இஸ் அபவுட் 78 years பேக், பிஃபோர் ஐ வாஸ் born. எப்படி வீட்டில் கேட்குறது, அப்பாட்ட யாருப்பா உங்கள் சித்தப்பா யாராவது லூஸாக இருந்தாங்களான்னு கேட்க முடியுமா? யூ கேன் ஆஸ்க். இல்லை, and I hope it is not hereditary. Most of you would also wish it is not hereditary. We did a very successful program on Kuvam. 2 years it took us all our time. எப்படின்னா ஒரு மெட்ராஸ் டேக்கு ஆரம்பித்தோம். We told Sriram we'll get ready for 2 months ஆரம்பித்தோம். It dragged along for 2 years. We marked something like 600 spots on the Kuvam, which has an importance. ஒரே ஒன்று மட்டும் சொல்கிறேன். The 1903 Wright brothers fly a plane in Kitty Hawk, USA. 1910 Island Grounds, the plane, first Indian plane, first Asian plane is flown. 7 years later, the technology is brought here, a plane is made and flown in Madras. So these small things, what exactly happens is when you go to Tanjore, you just talk about Chola history, Madurai Pona Pandya history. When we are doing a river, it's like a slice of a cake, layer varum. You can, at the same time, you'll be talking about Portuguese, you'll be talking about Dutch, we're going to talk about all of them. Armenians, we're going to talk about the Pandyas, the Cholas, the Pallavas, or a cake slice, you get a different taste at every, and it has scope for everybody to enjoy. So that is what we enjoyed about the Kuvam program. It was a really successful program. We made almost 1,200 of us, we made the city take notice of this river. Ivlo history in the river la irukka அப்படின்னா we made them take notice, and as a consequential effect, automatically we had to do Adayar. Adayar is always the poorer cousin of the Kuvam history அப்படின்னு நினைச்சோம் நாங்கள். But we were stunned. We were stunned at the history of the Adayar within the city and just outside the city. என்ன ஒரு வெரைட்டி, எவ்வளோ பீப்புள். தட்ஸ் வாட் adjusted. Ukrainian starts a secret society. A Swiss general wins a war for the French. The Portuguese build a fort which is knocked off by the Dutch. The British being built bungalows. இதெல்லாம் விட்டுட்டு, one thing I would say is, the Kuvam is about the imperialism of the British. Big buildings to impress the people that they ruled. Adayar, we found, was a lot more about the aspiration of the Indians. They came from outside, settled in Madras, and they grew. They tried to change identities. It happened to many things. That's what it's just a part of history. People should not get offended. He said, high caste women dance like dasis, and dasis dressed up like high caste women. Commoners posed as kings, and kings had to act as commoners. Everything happened. I think we're going to go through all of them, and I hope we have time till. Yeah. So the Adayar, one of the Adayar வந்து ரொம்ப நாளா நேம் கிடையாது. Full scale one, full பண்ணுமா? How do you do it? This is not my either. I'm stamping on things like that. The Adayar was the only other name that we could identify for the Adayar. 2 names we could identify was, one is the Chengalpet River. The British thought that the river came from Chengalpet. Just like the Kuvam was earlier called as the Pundamalli River or the Triplicane River, they called it. And Mr. Veludharan, one of our members who is sitting here, he discovered a culvert which says it is called Vanmiki Nadar or Vanmiki Nadi. Because there are a lot of Ramayana related stories in the temples around Girigambakam, Manapakam, where the Adayar enters the city. But Adayar eppadi vandirukkumna name, the river doesn't really join the sea. What small outlet you see is for the tidal water to come in. If you go to the broken bridge, you can see that the tidal water rushes in during the evening. Except for these floods, when they open up Chenbarambakam, water doesn't really get out from the Adayar into the sea. And Adayar is much better off than Kuvam in the quality of water because of the tidal. It's an illusion if we think that it is fresh water flowing in. Civilization is almost a synonym of rivers. Wherever you see civilization, it has been on the side of the rivers. Why this bond? Why should art, literature, dance, and dramatics flourish because of a river flowing next? That's a question we all have. And we have a theory saying that it is always assumed that rivers contribute to art and culture on its banks. And religion for that matter. Buddha often used the Ganges as a metaphor in his teachings. He used to say the east flowing Ganges, you can't stop that. This is the Tiruvayar. You can see Carnatic music thriving there. The Kaveri had its Chola architecture and Carnatic music on its banks. Even the Palar, which is to a certain extent water was running, we have a silk industry, we have the Pallava sculptures happening. But are all rivers equal? What about the rivers that have turned to urban sewers, so smelly that nothing but slums survive on their banks? What culture can these rivers have? This was the question that was haunting us before we started Kuam mapping. Would a cultural mapping of these semi-urban rivers tell us their heritage? And a point that we always discussed was, rivers are not equal. If they are perennial and if they are not perennial, do they have a culture and do they not have a culture? Basically, you can tackle it in a socio-economic angle. If the river is flowing throughout the, what is perenniality in the sense that when it is raining, there is water everywhere. There is water in the river and the water in the land. So you don't really require water during the rainy season. When it is not raining, the river should flow. So that means the river should have started in a hill where there is ice or snow, or it should start in an area with a different rainy season. So what happens is when water flows throughout the year, there's a lot of economic abundance, and the spare money goes into building temples, other things. So we can always relate culture to a perennial river. The economics of sponsorship. Culture cannot survive without sponsorship. It has to be sponsored. And to sponsor it, somebody must be making a lot of money. And in those days, say 100 years back, you need to have a perennial river nearby to make all that kind of money. And I'll come into the river systems of Madras. There are three parallel. Madras is totally a part of the Palar basin. Some days, I think when the climate was different, they must have all been connected to the Palar. We have the Korattaliyar in the north, the Kuam in the middle, and the Adayar in the south. So these parallel rivers are cut by a man-made channel in the middle, the Buckingham Canal. People always assume that any piece of dirty water in Madras is the Kuam. Kuam is an independent, separate river. We have the Adayar. It happened when we did the Kuam mapping first, there was a Hindu wanted to write an article about it, and the photographer went. Photographer was a personal friend of Sriram. So he just called up and said, I got a fantastic view of the Kuam from Chettinad Vidyashram. Sriram said, that's not the Kuam, that's the Adayar. You are 5 miles away. You go to a Gaiety Theatre and have it shot. So people assume all these, the easiest way to assume that there was a lot of boat movement is to look at the Buckingham Canal and imagine that boats went in Kuam and Adayar. They never did. Water was always flowing for less than a month. People crossed the river. We have Mr. Hariharan here who used to go to night shows from AC Tech by taking a 5 paisa boat from AC Tech across the Nandanam and to the theatre. He has told us the stories. This crisscross was happening. The linear travel was never happening in Adayar or Kuam. It was always happening in Buckingham Canal. So this is how most of these photographs, 100% of these photographs are not mine. They have been picked up from the net and they have been picked up from my group members. So this is, I think, taken from a plane. This is how the Adayar, you can see that small place where the tidal water gets in. And you can also see that the entire river is lower than the sea level. There's no way this water is going to run there. So this is the Adayar. This is the Adayar, how it starts. That is the Chenbarambakam Lake. You have that spot there, the pointer. Yeah. So you can see the river starts ahead of Chenbarambakam, and somewhere near Tirumudivakam, the surplus of that lake comes into the river. And the third is exactly where it gets under the airport runway. That is the biggest ecological mistake that we made in Madras. The water of the Adayar was flowing. There's red one, is it? Yeah. This is where you can see the runway. This is where it gets under the concrete of the runway, a wide river. But I always used to wonder, for a 42-kilometer river, why does it have such a big bank? Such a big width. And it becomes a 30 feet or 40 feet width under the airport. That is where the surge of the water takes place during the flood. Huge volume of water comes in, has to go underground, and when it comes out in a great force. Another peculiar thing is the two rivers of Madras. The upper one is the Kuam and the lower one is Adayar. They are pretty close. In fact, We have pictures and maps of Chenbarambakam from 1850s, 1860s, not before that. Chenbarambakam is obviously a man-made lake, and there seems to be a connection. An offshoot of Coom could have become what is Adayar today, because Adayar, for its 42 kilometer width, 40 kilometer length, can't be so wide. It could have never carried so much water. And when we are connecting rivers, I like to mention one. Therinjo Theriyamalo, I think we have connected a lot of rivers. Say 2 years back, the Godavari, which starts in Nasik, was connected to the Krishna. And the Krishna cuts across all these rivers, Pennar, Swarnamukhi, then Korataliyar, and then gets into Pundi, and gets into across the Kuvam into Adayar. So technically a river in Maharashtra is connected to the Adayar. Adayar is the last river they have connected it to. So if we want, of course, you cannot talk about transporting the water from tomorrow, because from where the Godavari joins the Krishna near Vijayawada, but from Srisailam we get the water to, much ahead of it, we get it to the Telugu Ganga. So all these rivers have been somehow connected for smaller irrigation and drinking water projects, but technically they have all, because they have cut across the Deccan Plateau. Cut across, and it comes, what river starts near the Arabian Sea comes into the Bay of Bengal. This is the Chenbarambakam. Look at the spelling. The British spelling of Chenbarambakam, I think this was 1870 or something. And isn't this line too straight for a bund? That's what we thought. Could it be an offshoot of Kuam that became the Adayar? And this is a very peculiar lingam at Shiva temple right below the bund of Chenbarambakam. And it is dressed up like an Amman, and they treat it as a mother goddess. It has eyes, it has a nose and all stuff. And the point is, why build a temple under bund? Perhaps it was a river bank. These are all, we're shooting in the dark, but I think something might work out of this. Another place where the Kuvam and Adayar came very close to each other was the Mambalam tank, where your T Nagar is, where you go to shop your Diwali saris, was one huge lake. And the Kuvam comes, that I think should be the lake area, and this should be the Lakeview Road. They come very close to each other. So at one point, say 100 years back, floodwaters could have crisscrossed from across the lake, across the rivers, anywhere on the way, and the hurry to get into the sea. So this is an aerial shot again. That greeny area is the Theosophical Society. That island is called Whale Island. We still don't know why it's called Whale Island. Perhaps it looks like a whale, or perhaps a whale beached here. Something. That island is called a Whale Island. And so you can see all this water is tidal water on the rivers, not going into the sea. The upper one is the older map, 1840. This is the present map as of yesterday. So you can see there are lots of changes. Quibble Island, where you have the MRC Nagar, is no longer an island. It's just a U. And otherwise, the Mambalam Lake is there. There's no Mambalam Lake here. Otherwise, the shape of the river has more or less remained the same. There are small loops, small islands near Nandanam. I think all of them have been filled up. This is what I was saying about when Kuam is all about huge buildings. The British built, Chisholm designed, Nambarmal Chetty built, and huge buildings. The Kuam perhaps had the first architectural competition in India was for a Kuam building, the Senate building of the university. And it was about government sponsored big. You had the zoos, you had the museums, you had very large buildings. And for example, the Doughton House on College Road, the portico is so high that the elephant with the howdah can walk in. And the king perhaps got into the first floor or something. There were several kings who were exiles there. And this is about aspirations of the Indians. When I was in college, I said I spent 3 months in Vivekananda College with the history as an ancillary. And we used to have a professor who wanted to know which town all of us were from. And when we said Madras, he would say only a fisherman can claim to be from Madras. Everybody else has come in. So in that sense, that people came in from outside, they had aspirations, they tried to erase their past wantonly or unknowingly. They were creating new futures, new pathways. Communities were creating new art forms for themselves. And most of it happened near the Adayar. It's fascinating when you look at that. You know about all these people who have been mentioned as adjectives, but I am not naming them. So this is what, a Ukrainian started a secret society. A Swiss general wins a war for the French. The Portuguese build a fort which the Dutch destroy. An Armenian builds a bridge. A Venetian visitor arrives in 1300. Can anybody name the Venetian visitor? Marco Polo. A Jesuit priest lived and died here. Pallavas and Chalukyas fight. Apostles and Alvars preach. That was incredible because we still have 3-4 places throughout the world where St. Thomas is supposed to have gone. And the church accepted last year that Thomas may not have come to Chennai. But the story that Thomas came to Chennai, to Madras, is like as if it has been etched in stone. And almost all of the places linked with Thomas the Doubter. That's why I think he was called Thomas the Doubter, and we are constantly in doubt about whether he came here or didn't come here. All the places linked with Thomas are on the Adayar, whether it is St. Thomas Mount or Little Mount or Santhome. They're all on Adayar. And there's an interesting legend that the river once jammed up because of a big log of wood. It's a predominant in all churches in Santhome. You have a description drawn in Santhome Cathedral. That is the river near Santhome clogged at the mouth because of a big log of wood, and the entire town flooded, and St. Thomas took out his girdle and with a single hand removed that log. That legend is there. We also have a legend of Thirumangai Alvar with the same river in Tirunirmalai. He got stuck in a hill because this area was flooded, and that's why the temple's name becomes Tirunirmalai. There's a lot of confusion. Cultures mix like anything. That is the Singaravelan temple in Mylapore, that is Kabali Koilla. And where that red arrow is, can you see the red arrow? Next time check it out. On the floor you will have these Portuguese or European words. It's actually a tombstone. It's a tombstone from Santhome, which has been used to, I see people already keeping their hands like this. So we were wondering what this would be, and we're trying, and then a book 1923, you can download that book, Antiquities of Mylapore and Santhome. This has been deciphered, and this tombstone, there's another tombstone on the Kalana Mandapam which has been removed. And this has been mistakenly mentioned in the book as on the floor of the Amman temple. It is actually in the Murugan temple that you can see this. So cultures were mixing left right. This didn't happen 1,000 years back. This happened 150 years back when the Mudaliyars redid the entire temple. The family of Pamal Samandha Mudaliyar, they repaired the entire temple. They wanted stone. They didn't have stone nearby. We get across lots of these things when you do Chola history. In the big temple in Tanjore, you can find a Pallava lion and a Pallava edict, Nandivarman's edict. Though the temple was built 300 years after the Pallavas went. That is because when the Nayaks repaired the temple, they didn't have stone. Geographically or politically, they didn't have a quarry. So they needed stone. They broke a temple called Brahmakutam next day and did the repairs. Something similar. They wanted stone. You didn't have stone in Madras or Mylapore. So the nearest available stone was taken. This is the tombstone, the covering. It's a fragment. But the history of the Adayar starts much, much earlier. This is the Pallavaram axe. The Pallavaram axe, there was a person working with Archaeological Survey of India or Geological Survey of India, Bruce Foot. He went for walking in the Pallavaram parade grounds next to the river, and he finds this. This is an axe. He is so stunned with the discovery that he doesn't talk about it for a year, because this is 1.5 million years old. It was not even Homo sapiens. We are all Homo sapiens. This was mankind before Homo sapiens came into India. They became extinct. A nice fiction writer could start off with how they lose an axe and starve and go extinct. So we can link it to that extinction. So this is the Pallavaram axe, and that there was a statistician called Gift Shiromani who worked with Madras Christian College. A fascinating man. His works are on the net. You can always go into that and find out. Gift Shiromani always used to say, look for cavemen sites wherever you have hills and water. Because for the night they need safety, they'll go up to the hill, they need to be near water. Typically you can find all those cane circles, those rounds where rocks are arranged in rounds. You can find cane circles, you can find Iron Age sites, you can find iron slag. All over Vandalur, you can see them in Tiruporur. Wherever you have a hill and a water, you can find them. So typically this is the ideal spot for a caveman who didn't have fire to survive. The Pallavaram has hills and it has the river. The Doubting Thomas, one of the 12 people associated with Christ, he doubted whether Christ had resurrected, so he's called Doubting Thomas. The 4th century, what exactly happened was Christ செத்து போய் ஒரு 300 years கழிச்சு தான் the story first is written. There was no written evidence when Christ was there. And then people allotted all these places. So they are all legends. But literary history is a very important aspect of the past. We just cannot ignore it. And 4th century, Doubting Thomas came to India, and there are some written works in Europe. But the first clear thing is when we get Marco Polo into Madras, 1290 or 1300. When he comes and he visits, he comes to Madurai, he talks about the 5 Pandya kings. He goes all over, he goes to China, he goes to Serendip, which is Ceylon, and he also comes to Mylapore. He doesn't mention Mylapore. He talks about a town where Nestorian Christians exist, a small town exists, and where there is where Thomas is buried. Then the legend catches up. This is a Raphael drawing, 1550, 1560, Renaissance, Baroque style, and you can see that Indian type person on the back. The legend catches up saying that Thomas was martyred in India. This, a person with, Raphael might not have seen an Indian at all, for that matter. The legend was so strong perhaps. This is an old photo of the St. Thomas Mount. You can have a very good view of the airport and the Adaya River from here. This is the church inside. And this is the great trigonometric survey. I had posted a question in that events page. Parangi Malaikum Everest enna connection. I got connected because he also mentioned Crazy Mohan. There was a very nice drama of Crazy Mohan in those days, Marriage Made in Saloon, where these guys go for a quiz and they set up the quiz master and get all the questions and answers in the same order. But suddenly this Madhu's girlfriend comes and says, if I don't win this quiz, something is big is going to be lost. So he purposely says wrong answers. So the quiz master asks him, which is the tallest mountain in India, in the world, and this guy says Parangi Malai. This is the first thing I remember. But what is the connection between Parangi Malai and Everest? The great trigonometric survey which measured India first started on St. Thomas Mount. It is about triangulation. They measure areas in triangles. They have a theodolite, which was 1 ton. Now it's much lighter. The engineering students use it on the road. So it was much heavier, 1 ton heavier. And a person called Lambton started it. And a person called Everest finished it, almost finished it. And Everest mountain was named after Everest. This is a pillar they built in Calcutta. This is how they do a survey. They go to a high place. So in South India, it was very easy. Lambton talks about lots of temple gopurams where he climbs with the theodolite. And anyway, St. Thomas Mount was the first place where they started, and Racecourse was the first spot they marked with the theodolite. Both of them are on the banks of the Adayar. The entire country was mapped for revenue purposes. I'm talking about 1800s. And it is one of the phenomenal cooperative activity and one of the first stages of improvement that the British really thrust on India. This is Lambton. Lambton has a statue on the St. Thomas Mount on the left. And he also has a small statue which we believe on the Tanjore Big Temple. Tanjore Big Temple, அவர் என்ன பண்றாருன்னா, he takes up the 1 ton theodolite on the top of the temple, 216 feet up there, and it tumbles down on the north side. And Lambton just writes, for repairs I spent 1 year in Tanjore. இதெல்லாம் வந்து சுதை வேலை. These are all only plaster work. So we just assume a lot of features look like Lambton. So we thought this must have been sponsored by Lambton. So we are putting forward a theory. The nearest theory is that it is a Dane from Tankubar. Next we come to Trinirmalai. Trinirmalai is very important for Adayar because it is the only Padal Petra Sthalam. It is one of the 108 Tirupatis. We don't have anything. Kuvam has Thiruvirkolam, it has Ilambayam Kotur, it has Thiruverkadu, Padi is almost on it. And surprisingly, Buckingham Canal has the maximum of this. Mahabalipuram, Thiruvidandai, Thiruvanmiyur, Mylapore, Triplicane, everything is on the Buckingham Canal. Buckingham Canal, if you start mapping, would be one of the fantastic water bodies in India. We have a college which gave 2 Nobel laureates on the backyard of the what do you call Buckingham Canal. Trinirmalai, Thiruttali Malaimanga. So anybody wants to get married without the father or mother knowing, go and get married. It is one big center for the very famous people who have got married here. I'm not mentioning them, but Trinirmalai has it's a Divya Desam. It has been sung about by the Alvars. The name Thirunemalai rises because after Thirumangai Alvar's legend. When Thirumangai Alvar goes there, he's not able to go to he gets caught in the opposite hill, and he talks about water flooding the area for 6 months. He has to wait for 6 months to see the god. And Adayar might never have flooded for 6 months, would have been poetic license or literary license. But definitely there is a legend of, if I had told this last year, nobody would have believed that Adayar could flood so much. Now these legends are being taken much more seriously. The Adayar river actually starts in a place called Manimangalam. It's a battlefield. You have a very old temple. I think I have a picture of that. Yes. And a big battle. The Chalukyas and the Pallavas fight. And Kalki has one version. History has another version. Kalki tends to believe that Mahendra Pallava was injured terminally. And that was the point when the change in this happened. Mahendra Pallava could have never gone to Vatapi and conquered him. His son was much more capable person, lesser art-loving person, who could go and capture. So I think Kalki tries to keep the death of Mahendra Pallava in Manimangalam. So it makes it very important. Sivagami Sabadam has a lovely couple of pages about how the Manimangalam battle, but that's fiction, so I didn't pick it up. And next important thing is we come across the airport. Madras has one of the oldest airports in India, 1940s. And the Meenambakam village was right in the middle of the airport. Children used to play on the airport, people used to dry paddy on the airport. When planes came, everybody was driven away. So, and when there was spare time and there were no planes around, the first racing track was used. That was because I think there was the flattest piece of ground in Madras. The motor racing happened in, this was, I think, that was Jupiter Airways plane, KVLRM, Alagappa Chettiar of Karaikudi, Alagappa College. I think he was the first person to operate this as a hub. And next we could, though, I'm just touching on the places on Adayar so that you will have you will know how important it is. The race course. The races started in 1777. Just imagine when the Mughals were ruling in Delhi, people were racing in Madras. There was so much importance given to horse racing by the British. And we had a very good opportunity to have on a trip to go inside the race course. Of course, 1820 it was made into a formal club. And the next one is right across the road we have King Institute. A lot of people don't go there unless you are traveling to Africa. If you travel to Africa, you need a yellow fever injection. And King Institute is one of the two places in Madras which gives you a yellow fever injection. And one peculiar thing is that injection is supplied by World Health Organization. You need 20 people sitting there for them to open one ampule. So you have to wait till the lesser than 19 people come if you go on the wrong time. And King Institute has one remarkable, the eradication of smallpox happened in a big way because of the vaccines made in King Institute. This building was an Indo-Sasanic building. It was in 1899. And this is where the vaccines for smallpox eradication were made in India, one of the places, and substantially improvement. There's something that we can still claim that is we have eradicated. The Marmalang Bridge, it's no longer there. We have the Marimaladigal Bridge instead. The bridge was done in 1700s by an Armenian, so at the cost of 1 lakh, so that people could go from Mount Road to St. Thomas Mount. We will come across this Petro Uskan later also. He's an Armenian merchant. We'll come across him later. The first agriculture college in India was in Saidapet. 1850s, 1860s, they grew wheat here. Wheat on Mount Road. Just imagine. Exactly where we have, it's between the Toddantar Nagar and we have, this building is not the Saidapet college. This is the education building. We'll come to that. But this is exactly where the college was. The college went up to the Adayar and it was shifted to Coimbatore in the 1900s. But one of the earliest agriculture colleges, perhaps even in Asia, was on the banks of Adayar in Saidapet. That is because there are two major water bodies on either side, the Adayar and the Mambalam tank. This building is the Teachers Training College. Teachers Training College, the building is still there. You need to shaken up by the metro railway, but it's still there. And Radhakrishnan, Anand Iyengar, the first speaker. Then we had Srinivasa Sastri, everybody studying here. Adayar River has a very good link with Bharat Ratnas. There are at least 3 Bharat Ratnas linked with the Adayar River. Radhakrishnan studies here, MS lives next to that, MGR lives next to it. So, And while talking about Bharat Ratnas, I love to put this question. Can you name one movie in which two Bharat Ratnas acted? Both of them are near the Adayar. M.S. Subbulakshmi and MGR. MGR does a small role in Meera, that of a minister. And it's perhaps the only movie that we can ever think of where two Bharat Ratnas acted. That is one advantage of studying something like a river. MS MGR ஒரே பேஜில் நீங்கள் படிக்கவே மாட்டீங்க. They're completely different books you will be reading them. But when you look at a river, it brings in all sorts of people together who lived. And then you see the common things, you see some interesting facts, trivia like this. Nandanam and Gandhinagar are two developments on the banks of the Adayar. Nandanam is named after a Tamil year. Rajaji named it after the year. Tamil year is called Nandanam. So he named it there. And Gandhinagar, another fascinating thing about Gandhinagar is, it's 7 days before Gandhi died, the foundation stone was installed. January 23rd, 1948, 7 days before, Omandura Reddiyar, he does the foundation ceremony for Gandhinagar. It was initially called Gandhigram, then it became Gandhinagar. It was bought. Gandhinagar and Kesavarmalpuram are opposite of each other. Kesavarmalpuram belonged to the Kabali, the temples, Kesavarmal temple, and Gandhinagar fully belonged to the Mylapore church, the Santom church. They were both bought by the government and plotted out. This is Madras Club, Mowbray's Cupola. This is also on the Adayar. We have a lot of clubs almost all Madras clubs are on the banks of the rivers. We have on the Adayar, we have the boat club, we have the Madras Club and the golf course of the Cosmopolitan, and most of the other clubs are on the Kuvam. This is the Mowbray's Cupola, where the Mowbray's Road actually starts. We've forgotten the road, we've forgotten this name. And next we come across the Buckingham Canal cut. The Buckingham Canal was always connected to the Adayar on the south and the Kuvam on the north. This 8-kilometer bit was done as a famine relief work. And the other day somebody had posted in a group where the boats for Mahabalipuram, the ticketing, it used to start in Kesavarmalpuram. You have to catch a boat to Mahabalipuram, it will cut across the Adayar, then go into Buckingham Canal. You had locks on both sides to maintain water levels. One of this, you can still see this lock near the Kotur railway station. You can see a lock near the Kuvam behind the university. So we'll go into topics aspects here. I just came geographically. It's very tough talking about a river. You can talk about it for 4-5 meetings, but getting them into one or Korveya Konduvaradu, it was very difficult. Literature. Sekilar was born on the banks of the Adayar, Kundratur, Periya Puranam. We have a temple for Sekilar in Kundratur. That is where the literature part of it started. And then Pammal Samantha Mudaliyar, the father of Tamil theatre. He did 96 to 100 plays. He was a trustee of the Kabali Koil. The reform of the Kabali Koil started when he was the trustee. And he was a lawyer. He ensured that only lawyers became actors. Idhula vandu small it is like or alamaramadi. It will take off somewhere. Say for example or simple this, I just tell you how unconnected things can get such big reform. So they don't have ladies acting. So they'll need a feminine looking character, a male character to do the female roles. So they get hold of a lawyer called E. Krishna Iyer, who takes the roles very, very seriously and learns the Sadiratam. He gets so fascinated with the Sadiratam, he talks about development, he fights with Muthulakshmi Reddy and all that stuff. And at one point he needs a legitimacy for this. And appadan correct on Anna Pavlova, Rukmani Devi meets and comes. What is the local dance available? E. Krishna Iyer takes her to the music academy. She gets fascinated. We still don't know whether Rukmani Devi coined the name Bharatanatyam or Krishna Iyer named but the name had already come up. So how it starts? Total, the politics was involved. We have a South African dancer who comes for the December movement, and she is very angry that the dance was stolen from the Devadasis, and she used to call some of the characters that we are talk about the 3 witches of Adayar. Muthulakshmi Reddy, Annie Besant and Rukmani. She says these people stole this dance form, actually killed the livelihood of one community. That's what she used to say. Pammal Samantha Mudaliyar was fascinating. He translated a lot of, all his achievements were on the banks of the Kuvam, but the Suguna Villa Sabha was always on the banks of the Kuvam. So he translated a lot of Shakespeare into Tamil. And names could be correct. Virumbiyadu Virumbiyapadi, as you like it. Amaladityan will be Hamlet. Jwalita Ramanan, Romeo Juliet, and Makkapati or something for Macbeth, all that. Vannipurathu Vanigan, Merchant of Venice. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஃபேசினேட்டிங்காக இருக்கும். இதில் வந்து I think our dramasலே was the biggest loss-making drama was Amaladityan after Hamlet. It should have gone into the dustbin of history. It did not, because it was converted into Manohara, and big people came in and somehow unconnected things will get connected in history. Pammal Sambandam Mudaliar is a very remarkable person, and another major achievement of his was respectability for theatre. Innekki varaikkum we respect theatre and cinema and things in Tamil Nadu. Unless you are connected to cinema, you cannot become a... This is a favorite line of mine. நதி கன்னிப்பருவம் கடந்தும் தன் மணாளனாகிய சமுதிரராஜனிடம் சென்றடைய விரும்பினாள். காடும் மேடும் கடந்து பாறைகளையும் பள்ளங்களையும் தாண்டி கொண்டு விரைந்து சென்றாள். அவர் சொல்ற கடைசியாக வந்து 2 கை கொண்டு கட்டி பிடிக்கிறார் சீயே அப்படின்னு ஒரு லைன் வரும். This was written on the banks of Adayar. This was written about another river. A much famous river, much famous novel. Any guesses? Ponniyin Selvan. Ponniyin Selvan was written on the banks of Adayar, and ஒரு 4 சாப்டருக்கு ஒரு சாப்டரில் he will describe about the river. He'll talk about one place, he'll talk about the gold. இன்னைக்கு கூட if you cross Adayar bridge during sunrise, either Kottrupuram or Adayar bridge, you can see the water is gold. அப்படியே ஒரு இடத்துல வந்து கல்கி will describe the பொன் நிறத்தில் அப்படியே இந்த சூரியன் வந்து விரிக்கிறனால பொன்னின்னு பேர் வந்தது அப்படிம்பார். த ரிவர் காவேரி. இது வந்து ரொம்ப குரூஷியல் லைன் வேர் ஹி கிவ்ஸ் அ க்ளூ. காவேரியின் பிரவாகம் இசைத்த இனிய ஸ்ருதிக்கு இணங்க இருபுறத்து சோலைகளிலும் பல வகை புள்ளினங்கள் மங்கள கீதங்கள் பாடி வாழ்த்தின. கற்பனை உலகிலே சஞ்சரித்து பகற்கனவு காண்பதற்கு இடமும் நேரமும் சூழ்நிலையும் மிக வாய்ப்பாக இருந்தன. இது வந்து இட்ஸ் அ பார்ட் ஆஃப் பொன்னியின் செல்வன், பட் வெரி வெரி ஆட்டோபயோகிராஃபிக்கல். இஃப் யூ ரிமெம்பர் தட் ஹி சாட் ஒரு அகண்ட காவேரி சைஸுக்கு ஒரு ரிவர் இருந்தது பக்கத்தில், தோ இட் வாஸ் டைடல் வாட்டர். யூ ஆர் சிட்டிங் இன் காந்திநகர் அண்ட் ரைட்டிங். And remarkably, it is one of the best creations of Kalki. Though he had other literally masterpieces, this was a feel-good novel. India freedom vandirundhathu, pudu edathukku poyirundharu, and it was a very positive novel. And for the first time, he writes so much about a river. There's not so much about Palar also in Sivagami Sabadam. He talks so much about rivers in this novel. Definitely, pakkathu veetla river odinirukappa we cannot exclude it from our thought process. So Kalki, I would also say that 70-80% of the people who come into history and heritage in Tamil Nadu have come through Ponniyin Selvan. At least we are 2 of us here. Ponniyin Selvan படிச்சிட்டு தான் we all came into history. Ponniyin Selvan படிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் next stage we went. For example, the Ponniyin Selvan Yahoo group that we have Vijay Kumar in Singapore fighting for the idol restorations. We have novelists, we have biographers, we have archaeologists, we have people who can epigraphists. Everything came because we all got together because of Ponniyin Selvan. This is his characters. Of course, it is from all his novels. And the next one would be Carnatic music. If my pronunciations are wrong, because I know very little about Carnatic music, Tirunirmalai, where there was a big Jamindar there. It is Sonti or Sonti Venkataramanayya. Sonti. Okay. The guru of Tyagaraja, who stayed in Tirunirmalai, sang for the Jamindar and made his wealth, and then started teaching students. So that is one of the first link that we get to Adayar. I am going chronologically. Then Kovur, Tyagaraja himself comes. Sriram asks, இவ்வளோ சின்ன கோயிலில் ஒரு ரோடு இருக்க கோயிலுக்கு தியாகராஜா 5 பாட்டு பாடியிருக்காரு அப்படிங்கிற. ஸோ Kovur, and it's about Shiva temple again. It is not about what he usually sings, not about Rama or something that he usually sings. So Kovur is once again, though it is not very close to the Adayar, it is definitely dependent on Adayar as a cultural medium. And Tyagaraja sings about Kovur. Of course, Patamal and MS, though not in their peaks, spent their last 3 or 4 decades on the banks of the Adayar. Cinema had a very big takeoff along the Adayar. People always imagine Kodambakam, other places. But when the talkies started, 1930s, Meenakshi Movietone, Cinetone was one of the first companies. I think it was Movietone. I have exactly where Satya Studio is. Angada, the first talkies were shot. Very interesting because people did not know about technology. The studio doesn't have a roof. They have to shoot in sunlight. So sunlight இல்ல அந்த டைமில் they will go and eat and get back. அப்போ வந்து they will throw the food on the banks, attracting crows from the Theosophical Society. The crow shouts, the shot is lost. So they have a guy, an Anglo-Indian guy, who shoots in the air to disperse the crows. And he was credited in Pavalakkodi. We have MKT's biographer here. Pavalakkodiயில் எண்டில் வந்து Joe, crow shooter. So I just wanted people to imagine, this is not the Joe, this is a photo I picked up from the net so that people can imagine how it would be. So MKT has the first superstar, has his first film, Pavalakkodi. Subramaniam directs his first movie along the Meenakshi, SD Subbulakshmi. We have fascinating stories about Pavalakkodi. We have Papanasam Sivan. Papanasam Sivan is a much ignored person when we talk about the Adayar history. He has been on this bank, he has been on that bank. On that bank, he sings a song about Annie Besant, Devi Vasante, in Vasanta Ragam. You still have a Vasanta Press Road next to the Theosophical Society. So that was Besant. In the Pakam, he is the Asthana songwriter and the musician for Pavalakkodi is remade 10 years later. And the same person writes 30 different songs. 30 songs for this and 30 different songs for that. So Papanasam Sivan is very much connected to the Adayar. எப்படி இருக்கா பாருங்க MTAT. For a generation, he set the hairstyle, he set the fashions, and one of the most successful banners in Tamil, or multilingual banner, AVM. People imagine it started in Kodambakam. People imagine it started in Karaikudi. It started in Admiralty Hotel on Norton Road. St. John's இருக்குல்ல, St. John's பக்கத்தில் Norton Road ஒன்று இருக்கும். Norton Road, in fact, we had a very big discussion in our group, young Nandan and me, on whether to include Kabali Temple as a part of Adayar culture. How far do you think Adayar is from the Kabali Temple? Any guesses? 4. 800 meters. Along Norton Road and Adam Street, Adayar Creek is 800 meters. That's a part of Adayar. It was an island earlier. We have a straight road going to the Kabali Temple. So 800 meters. We are taking Kovur, which is 2.5 kilometers from the Adayar, then Kabali Temple is a part of Adayar history. The Santham Church is 1 kilometer, it's a part of Adayar history. So in the Prakriti, we will talk about the house owner, the Vijayanagaram clan later. But unfortunately, the Vijayanagaram king jumped off a balcony and died. And the house was supposed to be haunted. And nobody picked it up. The building is still there. You can still see that Princely Doors. There's a school there. We can see the Princely Doors. And AVM wanted big bungalows to shoot movies. He was shooting in Pundamalai Road. He moved and started Prakriti Pictures. The precursor of AVM is a movie called, they still have that banner, Prakriti Movies or Prakriti Pictures, which was done there. And he made a fascinating movie there. Any guesses? Sabapati. Sabapati was made on the banks of Adayar, launched many carriers, launched humor as a genre for Tamil movies. I think people still laugh when you, especially that exam paper that he writes about Rockfort Express or something. So, this is a fascinating story. The royal family of Vijayanagaram, which owns Admiralty Spot, they exited in a haste. Seen a ghost or something, they exited in a haste. And they left everything back and rented it to AVM. And much later, AVM, he took all those precious things, locked it up in a room, personally held the key. 3 years later, when he put up a studio, in Karaikudi, he handed over the keys with the inventory. Exactly. So that is, AVM was a very, very honest person in the cinema field, especially, is a very honest person. That showed how much he was going to grow. We will come to the Theosophical Society. This is one big, we can do one separate talk about Theosophical Society and people linked with it. So first I will just, Olcott and Blavatsky, they start the secret society. They first tried to start it in Cairo. Then they started in New York. Then they come over to India. It was a secret society, mainly consisting of Freemasons, but they went one step ahead. They had letters dropping from the roofs. They had seances. They held their hands and prayed to the devil and all that sort of things. Olcott has a lot of personal history. He was a much fairer person. The revival of Buddhism, once again I'm talking about those links that which still affect us. Buddhism was not so strong. They were not mentally linked. The British and the Portuguese were controlling Sri Lanka. the revival of Buddhism, something like what Tilak did here in Maharashtra, was done by Alcott. Alcott still has a road named after him. He started the Ananda College. It was called something else earlier. There was a huge revival of Buddhism, which contributes to the political situation right now in Sri Lanka. A neo-Buddhist revolution. Alcott was, the Alcott school is one of the, I think Alcott school was where the midday meal scheme was one of the earliest midday meal schemes was started. Kamaraj mentions it when he starts his midday meal scheme in 1960s. All these names you know. Montessori, the school teacher. Maria Montessori teaches in Adyar, the Theosophical Society. She comes here, then they arrest her because she is an Italian during World War, and her son is sent to the jail in Pallavaram as an alien. And then he is sent to Ahmednagar. Mario still lives. Mario lives in Netherlands. So she made a lot of, this was personally because Arundel wanted her to come here. So he brought, there's a photographer in a sari, yes. Maria Montessori in a sari. And then we have Margaret Cousins, a poetic family. The biggest achievement of Margaret Cousins, can anybody tell me? She set the Janagana Mana to tune. One tune. Madanapallila, she was teaching one of the group schools. Tagore comes, they set the tune, and she writes down the notation. Innekku varaikum adu marala. Margaret Cousins spent her last years in Adyar. She was always linked to Theosophical Society. She spent her life, she was cremated or buried on the banks of Adyar. Chittu will come again. I think I don't have a photograph of Krishna Menon here. Krishna Menon, of course, everybody would have heard of. Nehru's best friend, who was Indian High Commissioner in the UN, Indian High Commissioner in... Krishna Menon patti padikkanumna, Krishna Menon came on the cover of Time. He was the person who spoke for several hours in the United Nations about Kashmir, and people say the Kashmir problem still exists because of that. Could have been settled, but for his love of oration. And Krishna Menon, the best thing that 90% pathina, the employee talking about the boss, it will be the best description of that person. Khushwant Singh has lovely things to say about Krishna Menon because he worked under him in the British High Commission. Not very repeatable in public audiences, but Khushwant Singh, I can't avoid this. Khushwant Singh used to say of Krishna Menon, he was a bachelor just like his father. So, about his boss. And another time when Pandit Nehru comes to London, Krishna Menon loves to pamper Nehru. The ice vekkiradu he used to love. So he pays a lot of newspapers to print this as the headline. And one typical thing that we have in the phone, நம்ம never type அடிப்போம் வேற ஏதோ ஒன்றும் இந்த ஸ்பெல் செக்கில். அதே மாதிரி நைட் வந்து டைப் செட் பண்ணுறவனுக்கு பண்டிட்டுங்கிற வேர்டு புரியல. ஸோ மார்னிங் பேப்பர் பேண்டிட் நேரு இன் லண்டன். So these actually Khushwant Singh is sent to the paper guy to buy the first paper for Nehru. And he sees this, he doesn't know what to do. He runs back to the embassy quarters. They all come back and buy all those papers. One particular paper published this way. So Krishna Menon time was one of the... But Krishna Menon suddenly fell into the... But Krishna Menon, how he is linked to the Theosophical Society. I shouldn't go out of the track. Because the Scout movement. Baden-Powell from South Africa and the British government in India don't think that Indians are fit to be scouts. They see it as a... Indian government, at least the British government, sees it as a potential threat. Naalik or revolution vandana, these people can work. So they never allow the scout movement to start in India. Annie Besant has a challenge. Annie Besant, for all her flaws, has done more for this area than any Madrasi. Engardo, Annie Besant will come again a little time. But she starts the scout movement as a parallel. She starts it in Adyar. The scout movement, there were some small scout movements in a Bangalore school where Anglo-Indians were admitted. But this is the first scout movement for Indians was started in Adyar. The place is still there. And 1918, Baden-Powell comes, he's so impressed, he thinks this could be a parallel movement. So he wants a merge. And gives Annie Besant the highest award for scouts. The Silver Wolf Award. இதில் என்னன்னா, Annie Besant is already involved in that acquiring Jiddu Krishnamurthy for Theosophical Society. From her father, they go for a case. And there is a satire written about Annie Besant. The Fox with the Golden Tail. அப்படியே படிச்சா Annie Besant தெரியும். You know all the characters. If you know the story of Jiddu, you know. அது யார் எழுதுனா சொல்லுங்க? பாரதி. நாங்கள் என்ன நினச்சோம், பாரதி வந்து he was making a satire after this Silver Wolf Award was given to her. Silver Wolf has been given to 10 people, 12 people in the history of Scouts. Annie Besant is the only person from India to get it. We thought. And then we see the dates. There's a 20-year difference. இவர் எழுதி 20 வருஷம் கழிச்சா she gets the award. பாரதி as usual was the தீர்க்கதரிசி. ஆடுவோமே பள்ளி பாடுவோமே என்னைக்கோ பேசுவார். அதே மாதிரி ஃபாக்ஸ் வித் கோல்டன் டெயில் இவர் எழுதுறாரு. அப்படியே ஆனி பெசன்ட்டை பற்றி ஒரு ஆர்டிகல் எழுதுறாரு. She gets the Silver Wolf Award 20 years later. And then we have Tagore. Tagore's first choice for Vishwa Bharati. Shantiniketan was already existing. There was only a school there. First choice for Vishwa Bharati was the banyan tree in Theosophical Society. Then 1916 vararu, he is not able to, Arundel brings him, but I don't think anybody could have got along with these people of Theosophical Society to start a new institution or anything of the sort. Now he goes back and starts Vishwa Bharati. And the banyan tree is also important because there is a meeting there. The next meeting is in Mylapore, West Mada Street. And the third is the formation of the Congress. The Indian National Congress had its genesis under the banyan tree in Adayar. There were a lot of people who were involved. Britishers, Irish, who were involved in the Indian freedom movement at that time. When Indians were too afraid to talk, the Britishers were talking. We had Annie Besant this side. Even Arundel was arrested. Arundel was arrested with somebody called Wadia, a trade unionist, who had started a union for Binny along with... yes. And then on this side, this bank of the Adayar, we have Norton, early Norton, who is accused of sedition. After so many years, so many people are being accused of sedition today. No, a British attorney is accused of sedition because he is siding with the Indians. He gives a lovely speech on what is sedition. He says, if all this is sedition, I am trebly proud to be a seditionist. Another important thing about Norton was, there is a case in which he appears. The opposite person is, he mentions something almost slander in the High Court about Sullivan, who is the Corporation Commissioner or something. This is the Bodhi Nayakanur dacoity case. Sullivan goes to court and says, sues him for slander. அப்பதான் the courtல சொல்றாங்க, whatever you talk within the court cannot be used for slander. That, I don't know, I added in my other thing, a small this that the court says that what you speak in the court is not a slander, is still it mentioned under Norton's photograph, Norton's painting in the High Court. It's still there. Then of course we have the Indian National Congress, Margaret Jiddu. I think the most remarkable person to have been on the banks of Adayar was Jiddu. I always personally feel. Jiddu's father comes from Madanapalli. He has 2 sons. Jiddu here, at least Jiddu was the 8th son. So the astrologer said he was going to be somebody great like Krishna. That's why he was named Krishnamurti. And they are on the beach because his father is working in Theosophical Society. Then Leadbeater. Leadbeater was not a very nice man. Much later in life, Jiddu would say that Leadbeater was an evil man. Leadbeater had many scandals along his life. And but he said, here is the next Messiah, the vehicle of truth. He is going to, we have to train him. And Leadbeater had that fantastic power over Annie Besant, who was the only person who could decide anything in the Theosophical Society. She decides that this person is the Messiah, we will train him, they send him to England, they make him study. And the membership of Theosophical Society jumps to 85,000. We don't have mentions of what it was earlier, but this is multifold. People donate money, land. There's one single person who donates 5,000 acres and a castle in Netherlands. Jiddu mentions returning it once he throws away this mantle. The Theosophical Society suddenly becomes a cash cow. They can buy anything. We will come to that later. But Jiddu at one point decides that he is not the Messiah. He throws away the mantle. He's a very good philosopher. But he says, I'm not God. You look into yourselves for your God. And Jiddu, because he was discovered on the banks of Adayar, because he was trained on the banks of the Adayar, is a very, very important Adayar personality. The Nilakanta Sastri family. We don't even know who Nilakanta Sastri is. He's not the historian, the other person. He's from Madurai, works in PWD, retires. He's not even allowed to settle inside Theosophical Society. He takes a house outside Theosophical Society. Then his 14-year-old daughter falls in love with the 40-year-old person, groomed to be the next president of the Theosophical Society, Rukmani Devi Arundel. They wait for 2 years and get married. 5 or 6 years down the line, Arundel becomes a president. And that is the time when Talakshetra land is bought. And once Arundel passes, Jina Rajadasa becomes the president, and Rukmani's brother Sriram becomes the number 2 in the Theosophical Society. At one point, a lot of people don't know this, Rukmani Devi Arundel and her brother Sriram were contesting for the presidentship of Theosophical Society. It had become a family affair. Rukmani loses, then later she moves to Kalakshetra. How one small family got to control two of the biggest trusts. That's what I talk about, aspirations of the people. People who come from elsewhere, settling on the banks of Adayar, suddenly they have so much aspirations, they have so much success waiting for them. This is Rukmani Devi Arundel. She married Arundel when he was 42 and she was 16. There was a lot of opposition from everybody except her family. And they went to Bombay and a civil marriage. They traveled all around the world. And during one of these trips to Australia, she meets Anna Pavlova, the ballerina. Wants to learn ballet. She learns ballet for some time. And Anna Pavlova says, you look at your local art systems. That's when she comes back, gets into touch with E. Krishna Iyer, floats the Bharatanatyam. We have a photograph of the, I don't have the photograph of the house. Her house is still intact, just or 10 meters from the Adayar. It's such a beautiful house. That is where perhaps Bharatanatyam was named. Where Bharatanatyam was sanitized. I would say that word. Bharatanatyam, the Sadiratam did not have a too good reputation earlier. Within 5-6 years, a team of 4 or 5 people could sanitize it. And the main vehicle, I would say that E. Krishna here did most of the work for sanitizing the Sadir into Bharatanatyam. And the popularity did not come because of Rukmani. The popularity came because of Baby Kamala or Kumari Kamala, whoever she was. She danced in all those movies that had small girls flocking to the Bharatanatyam classes. But the real, making it a middle class phenomenon, upgrading it from one caste to make it a real status symbol to say that my daughter dances, came because of Rukmani Devi Arundel. That's a phenomenal achievement, good, bad or ugly. There is a phenomenal achievement for one person to do in a lifetime. Today it's going to be a lot of stories about people because people have been remarkably successful. This is Durga Bai Deshmukh. Durga Bai Deshmukh, when she joins the Congress, she's a child bride, leaves her husband and joins the Congress when she's 13. And in one Congress meeting, the front rows are ticketed. Or 5 rupees or 10 rupees which goes into the donation fund. So, in the ponuk veranda valley kudukka mudiyala. So, they ask her to stand there and collect the tickets. Don't allow anybody inside without a ticket. So, a very handsome man comes in. She says, ticket. He says, enakku ticket ah? Yes, you give a ticket and go in. The local organizer runs and ava kaada pudichu thirugra. Nehru tiya ticket vaangara neenu. Nehru is going to speak. But Nehru remembers her. And such a remarkable character, Durga Bai Deshmukh, and the Andhra Mela Sabha, now it's named after her now. And this plot on the north bank of the Adayar river was given by a queen of Mirzapur. And I think one of the greatest achievers in women related issues was Durga Bai Deshmukh. And this is my favorite topic, the Battle of Adayar. I think the name Adayar is used first time in the history for the Battle of Adayar. I don't think it was used that time. Fort St. George is captured by the French. The British are all prisoners, including Clive. And the Nawab of Arcot, who is the most powerful force, says you two guys should not fight here. To teach the French a lesson, Mahfuz Khan, who is the son of Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Arcot, lays siege to the Fort St. George. Anga they fire the cannons, then this army scatters. Then they get the news that the French are getting a reinforcement from Pondicherry. So you can still see that place, Oceanic Hotel, Foreshore Estate, and the இடத்துல 10,000 பேர் நிற்கிறான். 10,000 soldiers of the largest army in the south. They stand facing south. And Paradis, who is a Swiss general, engineer who becomes a general, leads 200 French soldiers. Some say it's 1,000, some say it's 200. There are too many versions. There's a Clive version, there's an Anandarangam Pillai version of how this battle happened. So 200 people, and Paradis decides it's now or never. He fords the river. 200 people, and these people fire the cannons, these 5 guys fire the bayonets, and the 10,000 people scatter. I think it was the real David and Goliath battle. Voltaire compares it to Thermopylae, Sparta. He compares it to Thermopylae when he's writing. Nobody's seen this. They hear this, and it is magnified every time it is repeated. And Voltaire calls it the Thermopylae, the war of Thermopylae. The Athenians defeated, Spartans defeated the Persians. அப்போ என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா The next week, Clive escapes from Fort St. George. But that's the news is here. An organized army of 200 people can beat an unorganized army of 10,000 people with elephants. Mahfuz Khan rushes from, அது வந்து தமிழில் சொல்லுவோம் துண்டக்கானன் துணியக்கானன். He doesn't, that's what Anandarangam Pillai writes. He had lost his upper garment, but still rushed to save his life on an elephant to Kundratur. Kundratur போகிற வரைக்கும் நிற்கல. That was the size of the victory palace. They didn't lose a single person. They marched, they didn't stop. They marched all the way to Fort St. George and joined the people inside. So, appadan that feeling comes in that an organized armies are the future. So, the British are very fast learners. Very, very fast learners. Clive goes to Fort David in Kadalur. In the war of Padre, then they form the Madras Battalion. Madras Regiment. Madras Regiment is the precursor of the armies of three countries. India, Bangladesh and Pakistan. It started in Kadalur. It started days after the Battle of Adair. So, Mutaya used to say that this is one of the most decisive battles in the history of India. Very well recorded. You can walk there, you can see how they could have fought. You can see where they could have forded the river. It is a very recent 250 years old war which has affected the history of Madras. Adukapparam, then we should see how Fort St. George came back to the British. There's a place in Canada which was exchanged for Madras. Anybody can tell me the place? Nova Scotia was exchanged for Madras after the Austrian Succession War. This is a tale of two kings. One was a real king who has been downgraded to a zamindar. The other was a moneylender who was posing as a king. Both of them lived on the banks of the Adayar. One was extremely successful and one was extremely a failure. So let me go to Alak Narayana Raju, the king of Vijayanagaram. Vijayanagaram is a very ancient caste, ancient kingdom, but the British had downgraded them to a zameen. And a fascinating character, his brother captained India for cricket, Vizzy. Had his own private cricket team. And he was the person instrumental in sending Lala Amarnath back from England halfway through a tour. So at one point, the queen, who is from Himachal Pradesh, Vidyavati, you can find her name in lots of institutions in Madras. Vidyavati. You have scholarships in her name, you have schools in her name. The Gurudwara in G.N. Jetty Road she built. He marries, they don't get along. They have a lot of children, but they don't get along. There's a lot of scandal. She has a very young male friend who influences her to go to court. The male friend was looking at the Vijayanagaram Zameen when he was destined for much, much bigger things. He later becomes president of the country, but he influences her to file a case in the court saying that her husband is insane. The king is insane, so you give me the kingdom and the kids, the control of the kids. That's the next king. And a team of lawyers, a battery of lawyers on the opposite side, including Alladi Krishna Swami. Judge is Subbarao. And the lawyer of Alaknarayan Raju tells him, you argue the case. Then this guy says, how can I argue against some of the top lawyers in the Madras presidency? He says, if you argue your case, the judge will be convinced that you are sane. So he argues the case. I have a gun license. If I was insane, will they give me a gun license? I have a driving license. I have gone this, I am a member of this club. But Subbarao is convinced about one thing, that this guy is sane. But the king made a mistake. The judge made a mistake. After being proven sane, he is the king who jumps from the balcony of that Admiralty Hotel and dies. So, very pitiable. People are fighting for kingdoms, people are fighting for other things. But this was one case of a king fighting like a commoner. Next is a commoner who posed like a king. This is that Admiralty School. The doors are still there. The Admiralty Hotel. Raja Sir Annamalai Chettiar, the founder of the Annamalai University, the founder of the Tamilisai movement. His pluses you can list on one side. But for a change, let's talk about his minuses. Annamalai Chettiar's father must have been a moneylender. Annamalai Chettiar moved in. He was a political animal. He could sense what was happening. Annamalai Chettiar wielded more power than any politician in Tamil Nadu at one point. He was perhaps the most powerful Indian. When I said the most powerful Madrasi who lived on the banks of the Adayar, somebody in my group corrected me saying that MGR also lived on the Adayar. But at that time, I think Annamalai Chettiar was because of his closeness to Lady Wellington and Wellington. Wellington அப்படின்னா he was the governor of Madras, had a very bad time, very corrupt. When he went, I get reminded of some judge also who did the same thing. When he went, he took off all the carpets, chairs, everything from Raj Bhavan, the governor's house, whatever it is. And they were all seized in the port. Nobody even thought that Wellington would come back to Madras as a visitor, but he comes back as Viceroy in Delhi in 5 years. So, Annamalai Chettiar's life path was parallel to Wellington. For example, he says at one point, Madras has become a big town, we need a mayor. Immediately the governor says, come on, let's have a mayor election. And Annamalai Chettiar says, what even the governor doesn't know. My son will contest for the mayor. Okay? And then the process is started, the election is announced, and the applications are invited. Raja Sir Muthaiah Chettiar applies, and they find he's underage. 6 months. So Annamalai Chettiar has the mayor election postponed for 6 months so that his son can compete. It's something phenomenal. You should read about Annamalai Chettiar in Caste and Capitalism in Colonial India, Pamela Price or Rudner. After Muthaiah Chettiar becomes the mayor of Madras, the first thing he does is he signs a property for himself, for his family, for a 100-year lease. 1932. Can anybody tell me which property that is? Not Marsi Nagar, not Aryapuram, Marshall's Road, the wedding halls, Air India building. They still own it. Kings have lost their kingdoms. Kings have lost their purposes. But Annamalai Chettiar's family still controls that 50 acres. Long-reaching arms of Annamalai Chettiar. What he does is he's not a king or anything. Then what he does is he buys 100 acres, fences it, calls it Chettinad. There's no town called Chettinad. Chettinad is a big generic name. And he says, gets the title of Raja, just like Raja Ram Mohan Rai, a Raja title from the British. India வந்து he poses as the king. People don't know. People in the internet கிடையாது அன்னைக்கு, no newspapers, you don't know what really happens. So he comes and poses as the king. I was always told that the protocol officer in Raj Bhavan was under the payroll of... so when Queen Elizabeth comes, the second lunch she has is in Chettinad Palace along the Adayar. People assume they were king. எப்படின்னா இன்னைக்கு ராஜான்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Then they used to call their son Kumara Raja. It is not an inheritable title. Kumar Raja, Kumar Rani, and it used to go like that. Last week I went to a village called Kottamangalam. I had to cross through Annamalai Chettiar's house of Kannadagathan. Google பார்த்தா Maharaja's Palace னு போட்டிருக்கு. I thought the ghost of Annamalai Chettiar is full time working still. But the pluses are there. He starts, because he is not allowed to be the president of the Music Academy, he starts the Tamilisai movement. Not out of love for Tamil, he starts the Annamalai University. His uncle was the founder of Indian Bank, then this family controlled Indian Bank for such a long time. So, this is his palace on the banks of the Adayar. This is a view from the nearby flat. You can see the Adayar, you can see the Whale Island. Early Norton, I spoke about him earlier, the Norton Road, who talks about the rights of a lawyer inside the court as well as he talks about sedition. This is the line. If it be sedition, gentlemen, to rebel against all wrong, if it be sedition to resist class tyranny, to raise my voice against oppression, to mutiny against injustice, to uphold the liberties of the individual, to vindicate our common right to gradual but ever advancing reform. If this be sedition, I am right glad to be called a seditionist. இன்னைக்கு சொன்னா உள்ள பிடிச்சி போடுவாங்க. So this is, we come to one of the, I think we have time, one of the last parts of Adayar, Santhom. Santhom has a fantastic history. I think it was a hotbed of politics for nearly 300 years. The man who controlled Santhom controlled the Carnatic. The Portuguese came in first. This is a lovely altar in the Madre de Dios Church. Mada Koil Church in இருக்கும் மயிலாப்பூரில் சாந்தமில். யூ அப்சல்யூட்லி see it. Most of the old buildings have been, வெளியில் இந்த ஆர்ச்சும் உள்ள இந்த ஆல்டர் மட்டும் கரெக்டாக இருக்கும். இது வந்து was controlled by the Madra family. Madra family could have possibly given the name to Madras. A very strong contender because they also owned where you have that hospital, secretariat பண்ணி hospital வந்ததுல Rajaji Bhavan, Rajaji, what do you call that? Government estate. They rented it to the British East India Company. It was Madras House, Madras House, Madras House, Madras House. Possibility. Though we have other theories and other contenders for Madras, I think the Madra family have a very strong contention for the title. This is the St. Rita's Church. அந்த இடத்துல டிராஃபிக்கை தாண்டி போனால் போதும்னு இருக்கும் சாந்தோமில். திஸ் இஸ் இன்சைட் த பில்டிங் பிஹைண்ட் இஸ் த சாந்தோம் ஸ்கூல். திஸ் சர்ச் is actually jetting into the Santhom High Road. So, but most of us don't notice this. It's a beautiful church, a small one. And can you see those two small ledges? This and this. இது ரெண்டுமே கல்வெட்டு edicts. I have one of them. This is an Armenian kalvettu, Armenian edict, which says, in memory of the Armenian nation. In 1650, the Ottoman Empire and the Persian Empire, they split Armenia. உனக்கு பாதி எனக்கு பாதி. The country of Armenia, after 2,000 years of history, ceases to exist. And it was remembered in a small kalvettu on Santhom High Road. Of course, when USSR broke up, we have Armenia again today. But this was done by Uskan, who built that bridge, was one of the leading Armenian merchants. This, in the kalvettu was done in 17 something, when the crypt of St. Thomas was opened. அதை மென்ஷன் பண்ணுறாங்க. They open it, அந்த டைமில் இந்த கல்வெட்டு வைக்கிறாங்க. The next kalvettu is in Portuguese when this church was built. But this is a very remarkable thing. This you can see from only across the road. You have to cross the road and see it. ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லாக வேறு ரோடை கிராஸ் பண்ணோம் அந்த ரோடு. So the idea of a Nestorian church in Santhom is very, very old. 1300s, we have Marco Polo coming in 1200s, 1400s we have Conti coming, and it is repeatedly said, Mylapore, and they repeat a town of peacocks, அப்படியே வந்துடுது. இன்னைக்கு கூட நீங்கள் போய் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஜீசஸ் கிரைஸ்ட் ஸ்டாச்சு within Santhom will have 2 peacocks. There are lots of statues with peacocks, the peacock symbology. இதில் என்னென்னா the Amman temple, the Thayar in that Vaishnava temple in Mylapore is called Mayuravalli. Mylapore has a Myl legend, and this is the third place where they pick up that legend. The Santhom Church, this is a new church built in the British style. It is not the original, at least the basement is original, but this was built by the British, 1800s. This is the old church. இது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப லஸ்ட் சர்ச் மாதிரியே இருக்கும். It looked like last church, and this is where you have the crypt. You are allowed to go into the crypt, see the place where he was buried. You have a nice museum. We have some impressive things in the museum, very controversial things. I think before they remove it, you should go and see all those. This is a Vikramachola kalvettu. Vikramachola 1150. This kalvettu is inside the Santhom church. Was discovered in the Santhom grounds. This is the text. It is about giving land to a Kuthandavara. Ivar Natarajar Koilukku, somebody gives land. So they talk about this. This is also a fragment. But the more interesting kalvettu is this. This is in a pillar. We were not able to see it. A Mekirti of Rajaraja in Mylapore. 1920 it was last seen. The pillar is standing inside the bishop's house. We were not able to see it, but this has been recorded. Mandalam, this is the typical Mekirti. And another kalvettu which I should have talked about in St. Thomas Mount. Kasu Kadamayum Nel Ayana Thirumayilapu Thirupumbavai. I think this is the only place Pumbavai is mentioned in a kalvettu. இது வந்து சென்ட் தாமஸ் மவுண்ட்ல இந்த மேல நர்சஸ் குவார்ட்டர்ஸ்ல படியில இருக்குன்னு போட்டிருக்காங்க. தட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ ஆன் த பேங்க்ஸ் ஆஃப் த அடையார். இல்லை பட் கூட மீன் ஃப்ராக்மெண்ட் இங்கே எடுத்து போயிருக்கலாம், கல் வேணும்னு எடுத்து போயிருக்கலாம். ஸோ திருப்பூம்பாவை இஸ் a fascinating character. We should all be proud that a Madras girl is mentioned 10 times in the Devaram. Nobody else is mentioned 10 times in the Devaram except the poets themselves. பூம்பாவை எந்திரிச்சுவான்னு கபாலி கோயிலில் சம்பந்தர் will sing. So we ought to be proud that Pumbava is mentioned so many times in Devaram. And this I was very fascinated because now we can't see this. It must have gone into some other concrete building. But it has been Padi Edthachu. It has been mentioned in books. These 2 lions were discovered within the church grounds. Mela pathina you can see the peacocks. Peacock, between a cross. These lions are poor imitations of the Pallava lions. Must be the Nayak period. And must have been stood in front of some temple in Mylapore. This is the plan of the Santhom fort. And you have the Adayar river being marked here. There were 2 forts in Santhom. The Portuguese had a huge fort, which was demolished by the Dutch and the Golconda forces. Golconda ruled Mylapore and Santhom for some time. Another Kacheri Road. Kacheri Road is in that name. And this fort, if you the fort road lines, I don't know, I think I have the picture, this picture. Leith Castle Road. Up there you can find the same shape in the roads. Until a few years back, people used to say used to have the big walls, but that was after Santhom redoubt. The British built two small forts, one in Egmore and one in Santhom. There was a small fort built on the ruins of the older fort, but then nobody took care. And one fascinating thing about this is, Parry started his first factory in Mylapore, in Santhom. He made leathers for export to USA. That must have been the first individual private factory in the history of India. We had company factories earlier. At the height of its glory under the Portuguese, the artillery might of the fort, 30 iron guns, 1 of brass, 3 6 9-pounders, swivel gun of 40 iron hoop, 12 falcons and 4 wall pieces. This was the defense of Mylapore. And still they fell. And where was all the gunpowder coming from? You still have this road in Mylapore. இது எங்கே இருக்கும்னா எக்ஸாக்டாக அருண்டேல் ஸ்ட்ரீட்டுக்கும் கச்சேரி ரோடு மீட்டார் இடத்துல இருக்கும். Powder mill, 2 lanes, where they made all the gunpowder perhaps. And I come to the last slide. We should be thankful for the flood, at least for one thing. It reminded us of the historical nature. It was a historical flood, and it reminded us of the history of this fabulous river. So I have left out a lot of important things. We are still in the process of doing the walks and the trips. We do a walk every month. We had a trip to Theosophical Society run by Srimati last month. Karine is conducting a Saidapet walk next month. He's a French architect. She's doing a Saidapet walk next month. We have a trip to Manimangalam sometime in January. It's a very cooperative effort. நான் தனியாக வந்து இங்கே பேசுகிறேன்னா the work has been done by several people. We just put it in one forum, and so I think we should be thankful to all of them. The same way as Kuam, we also had a lot of people working. And people who are fascinated with local histories, what happened. For example, I live in a place called De Silva Road. Then I asked Sriram, who's this De Silva? Nama local Tasmac Madi, he had a wine shop within the fort, so they gave him 3 acres. So even if it is not fascinating enough, there's some history. You know what has happened there. We know exactly how many places Gandhi has stayed in Mylapore. We did a Mylapore walk last year, though it was not connected to this river. We discovered so many fascinating facts about Mylapore, which we had not known for 50 years of living here. So, in a way, finding local history is a very fascinating thing compared to the history that you read in your school. I'm very, very sure the local history will never find its way into a school textbook. Perhaps that's what makes it much more interesting. இன்னைக்கு வந்து நம்ம 90% of our history has been sanitized. It has been, for example, when I wrote the sequel to Ponniyin Selvan, எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஆசை ஒரு சீன்லேயாவது ராஜராஜ சோழன் ஒரு நான்வெஜ் சாப்பிட வைக்கணும்னு. As a king, he would have eaten. வந்தியத்தேவன் would have eaten. Maximum thing that they eat is இடியாப்பம் தேங்காய்பால் இடியாப்பம் தேங்காய்பால். எவ்வளோ நாளைக்கு, how many kingdoms can you conquer with இடியாப்பம் தேங்காய்பால்? When I decided to write this, people warned me, அவ்வளோதான், you will be finished. You have a different impression about Rajaraja Cholan. And somebody asked, when Modi said that Indians have never wished for the land of other countries, somebody quoted the Cholas. Cholas have been bloodthirsty conquerors. You should look into Mahavamsa in Sri Lanka and see how bad they were. But இந்த ஒரு பொன்னியின் செல்வனால we imagine them அழகா அப்படியே கையில் சங்கு சக்கர ரேகையோட ஒரு குருவி கீழே அப்படிதான் தூக்கி மேலே வச்சுட்டு. It's nice to hear, but that's not the history. அசோகர் மரம் நட்டார் குளம் வெட்டினார்னா, that is what we read in the books. That he also did that. அன்னைக்கு last week we had 15 days back we had Gopu speaking here on the Ashoka pillars. Ashoka's Kalvettu is so calm and convincing and peace-loving everywhere else except Kalinga. Kalinga, he says, if you dare wag your tail, you will see the other Ashoka. So kings had to be bad. We are sanitizing it with fiction. I can be accused of that crime too, but local history has too much of reality, too much of the flavor. You're proud, much more prouder of knowing that these things happened here. For example, when we did that Mylapore walk, we talked about the MLM house, which has all members in that family have a road named after them. The house, that huge house behind the Nageswara Park, the Paragon Theatre people. The father's name is at Mahalingapuram in Kodambakam. Every child in the house has a road named after them. That is history. So, local history brings down the time period. It gets it closer to you. In the sense that anything that happened in 70s is also a part of local history. 80s is a part. Yesterday is a part of local history. We don't have to look into kings. There's a lot of common people. How many common people did you read about in history or history books? Very few. Local history is about common people. இன்னைக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு ரெண்டு ராஜா உள்ள கொண்டு வந்தேன். It is all about individual achievements. People who fought and sought ambition. Greatness. So these 2.5 years when we did this Coombe and this, and next we hope to do the Buckingham Canal and the Palar, I think it's giving us a lot different. We are looking at our own history through a different peephole. It's making us more conscious of what is happening. Local history has more, importance when you're talking about these ecological issues. We know what was there. We knew that the Adayar had 2 arms. It went around an island. Now one arm has been cut off by filling. That may be causing the floods. Kibul Island was just one cemetery and a place where, because Lazarus was the patron saint of lepers. So there was always a story, I used to hear it as a kid, that Kibul Island was an island of lepers. Whenever somebody got leprosy, they used to send them to Kibul Island. There was no patta there. Now everything has been partitioned. Huge high rises. We have destroyed the estuary. People are fighting back to get the estuary into place. And we talk about it only for 1 week, 10 days after the flood. Then we forget it. I think local history will be the vehicle for us to look after the places which we cherish unknowingly and which have helped us live and succeed. Thank you so much. I could answer any possible, if possible, a question. Yeah.
Dr. Ramasamy told the Adayar River is also one of the places of old civilization. Very old.
Another 1.5 million years. We don't have very old excavations on the bank. The axe is older than anything. Mudumakkal Tali is 30,000 years old. This axe is 1.5 million years old. Huh.
Extinct volcano, Anjumana Erinmalai. That is the geologist. Tamil Nadu moon.
There are so much around Parangimalai that you have a temple, Bringi temple. Definitely a volcanic origin because they're independent of Okay. It's a good point.
You haven't told us actual source of the Adayar River.
Manimangalam. There's nothing, it's a 10-foot stream, it starts sudden out of the middle of nowhere. And the water from the Vandalur hills come in. But this river sustains on the overflow of Chembrambakam. Till that the river is very...
Not one source.
There are two arms coming and joining. But this river is literally non-existent today, with plots and factories all on either side. It starts where, in Tirumudivakam, where the Chembrambakam comes and excess comes and joins. There's no water otherwise.
It's not a direct outflow of the Chembrambakam.
No. Chembrambakam is it starts beyond the Chembrambakam.
Actually, Adayar is not a single river. It starts from all the different areas and just collects into 3 different channels which come and join near Manimangalam. And then about 30% of the water of the Adayar comes from Chembrambakam.
One more thing. Adayar was not flowing here. Geologically, it was flowing in Padikarnai, Padicherry area.
Swamplands is definitely attached to the river. Huh? Last 300 years, Marla sir. I showed you a 300-year-old map. India President. President of India? Huh? It is a? Tirunelveli has some fascinating histories. And I think a lot of people, one thing we found is that if you go to St. Thomas Mount, there are notices everywhere saying couples should not loiter here. The Theosophical Society has 4 separate watchmen for this, to chase away the couples. My point is, if you are going to give awards for intercaste marriages, why are you stopping them? Huh? It is such a paradox. Chase-away society, we are told that we have four watchmen specially to chase away the couples. And we found these boards in the St. Thomas Mount also. I think Adyar has some close link with this these secret marriages. Arcot Nawab ancestry is much, much deeper. It is not about, he was a subordinate of the Hyderabad, who were subordinates of Mughals. At one point, they were reporting directly to the Mughal king. Through the these have, for last 300 years, the Arcot Nawab have been having what you call a chatram or something on the road next to the Kaaba. It was just now demolished and they were given a compensation and they built elsewhere. They have a very long lineage. They have intermarried across the country and across the world. They were very closely related to the Nizams. They were underlings. Whenever the boss becomes weaker, their next generation starts. That's how Anwaruddin was one of the earliest of the Nawabs and he has a very close link with Adyar. That's a very recent tapas. It was built by the British for them. The original Nawab says, once again, I forgot to tell that, we lived along the Kachari Road. When they came from Arcot, Kachari Road, 2 or 3 mosques, we have very old mosques. Kachari Road, they lived in that area while they were building the Chepauk Palace. Chepauk Palace went in an auction, not an auction which only the British participated. Adhikapuram, they built this Amir Mahal. Amir Mahal is very, very recent. The third palace, the Arcot Nawab is living in. First 2 palaces are gone. I actually had Brody's Castle on the other laptop. This was an earlier version of the speech. That is a music college. We had a bank which collapsed, spectacular collapse, 1906. They had 11,000 employees, 7,000 creditors, 1 million pounds. And one day it collapses, and in a way it was nice because, not because of the music college, because lots of Indians started banks immediately after that. A lot of Indians started banks, and for 70-80 years they controlled banks. Arbuthnot Bank. The boss committed suicide. Not the boss. The house was actually Brody's Castle. Brody committed suicide or drowned in the Adyar. There are lots of drowning accidents in the Adyar till recent. So then till it became the music college, I think it was very unlucky. It kept changing hands, and this bank was one of those big scandals which happened there. Imagine a company in 1906 having 11,000 employees. They should have paralleled the Madras Presidency government. Guindy Engineering College originally started as a surveyors college on the banks of the Kuom, shifted 2 times and then came here. A lot of this, you should remember, this was not fresh water. People wanted to treat them as drainage waters. So wherever a lot of people were, like colleges were going to stay, they put it on the river banks. என்னைக்குமே அடையாரில் வந்து salt water தான் ஓடி இருக்கும், till engineering college at least. So they couldn't have used it for drinking water. So almost all educational institutions those days, British days, were on the rivers. Kuom majority, the agriculture college and Anna University mattu, it was on the banks of the Adyar. Of course, St. Patrick's School. St. Patrick's School also was on the Adyar. That is also 1800s. King Institute is a teaching institution much later. It's much later. I knew somebody would ask this, but the other day when we did a trip, we went to temples which are a few meters away from the Santhom Cathedral, Kolavali Amman, Waliswarar, a few meters away. Adalan, they are intact, they have Vijayanagar Kalvette, they have everything. Why should Kapalik temple, which is could have been, why was that alone destroyed? So I think there is, I showed you a tombstone from the Santhom church in Kabalikoil. It is perfectly legitimate for them also to claim that we broke the church and built a temple. So I think we should have a mandatory period, 100 years, 200 years. அதுக்கு முன்னால எதுவும் பேசக்கூடாது. கோயில் தானே கட்டினா, சர்ச் தான் கட்டினா. So that's how we have to. But there was lots of Jain statues on Santhom High Road, in individual houses inside the church, next to the church. That statue was taken intact and taken somewhere in Chayar. நேமிநாதா, மேல்சிதாமூர்.
சாந்தம் சர்ச்சில் நிறைய broken temple parts நான் பார்த்தேன்.
இப்போ காமிச்சேனே சார்.
I 8 years old. And as a boy, I've seen lot of things.
இல்லை, they are very honest about it. Was discovered here and தைரியமாக they are keeping it inside the museum. They are not opposing it.
So வரைக்கும் நான் பார்த்துருக்கேன்.
But I like to believe, I go to a lot to Kabaleshwar temple. I like to believe that it was here that Samandar sang, that it was here that Arjunagiri sang, that it was here where Parvati as a peacock came and prayed to God. I like to believe that. But I think Hinduism வந்து place or the idols are not very important. They can be replaced. So I think Hinduism was always evolved because of that success. We can move our temples, we can move our gods, we can replace our gods.
There is nothing like Mylapore port. இருந்து சொல்றாங்க. இப்போ இருந்திருக்காங்க Mylapore.
Sir, port எப்போ மாறுச்சுன்னா when the hull of the ship became different, became bigger. A lot of ports. We have a port called Tondi, which is in a straight line from Madurai. அந்த காலத்தில் மதுரை must have exported all pearls and must have imported all horses through that. இன்னைக்கு ஒரு ஹல் பெருசாக இருக்க கப்பல் வர முடியாது. Definitely the Madras port must have been where that Adayar Creek is, where the sea join பண்ணிருக்க இடத்துல. It couldn't have been on the beach. It couldn't have been on the beach. But beach itself is much later தானே. இந்த பீச்சே கிடையாது. கடல் was so close. போர்ட் போட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம் தானே பீச் வந்தது. I always like to say the biggest artificial thing in Madras is the Marina Beach. Man-made. People would not believe it is man-made. It is man-made. So the sea was much closer. We actually had a wall along the beach road. Not in this. We had a bulwark along the beach road to stop the sea from coming in. அது எப்போ கண்டுபிடிச்சாங்கன்னா the RBI அண்டர் பிரிட்ஜ் தோன்றப்போ they found so much bricks there. Heavy land.
போட்டோ இருக்கு. இறங்குறான் அப்படியே ஷிப்ல இறங்குறான். போட் வாசல்ல இறங்குறான். கேட்ல இறங்குறான்.
அது அங்கே
அங்க இருக்கு. இன்னும் இருக்கு அந்த போட்டோ இருக்கு. போட்டோ பிக்சர்.
The original mouth of the Adayar River was at Fort Shore Estate, not where it is.
அந்த பிளான் clean இருக்கும். Where we showed the earlier plan. The island was intact and the river was opening up there. இன்னைக்கு நான் சொல்கிறேன் பாருங்களேன், the river does not open up into where it is now. It is only for the tide water to come in and go out. Much higher level. When water goes up, it goes in and comes out. And we walked up to the கண்டுபிடிக்கதே கஷ்டமாக போச்சு எங்கே கடலில் சேருதுன்னு. Then I understood why they call it Adayar. Perhaps அடைஞ்சு போனார். கச்சேரி இஸ் a court. It's a police court. கோல்கொண்டா ரூல் பண்ணுறப்ப கச்சேரி இன்றைக்கி அங்கே தான் கிராமத்தில் எனக்கு கச்சேரின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. போலீஸ் இதெல்லாம் போலீஸ் ஸ்டேஷன்ஸ் கச்சேரி, நம்ம கச்சேரி இல்லை. ஸோ ஈக்குவலி வயலன்ஸ் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் இன் போத். ஐ திங்க் திஸ் இஸ் அ டிஃப்ரெண்ட் கச்சேரி. கச்சேரி. ஸோ திஸ் வாஸ் டூரிங் கோல்கொண்டா டைம்ஸ். கோல்கொண்டா வந்து they were the people who conquered Portuguese. British never sent out Portuguese. Golconda invasion along with Dutch தான் they threw out the Portuguese. அப்புறம் Portuguese lived as individuals. They didn't were not as rulers but as individuals. Adayar River join பண்ணுற இடத்துல தான் சார் இருந்திருக்கும். Another fascinating thing we found is Shashwat and I, we took a list of all European ports in Tamil Nadu, Andhra and Tamil Nadu, starting from Masulipattnam, Pulicat, Fort St. George, Santhom, Cedras, Pondicherry, Porto Novo. Time ஆச்சா? All this, they were all in spots where the river joined the sea, and they were all in the north bank. ஒரு 20 போர்ட் பார்த்துட்டாங்க. 20 போர்ட்டும் where the sea, river joins the sea on the north bank. Santhom on the north bank of Adayar estuary, Fort St. George on the north bank of the Coam estuary, Cedras on the north bank of the Palar estuary, Porto Novo, Pillar. அந்த மாதிரி ஒன்று ஒவ்வொரு ஊருக்கும் I don't know why what's so common about them, but the point is it must be that accretion of sand or something of that sort. The British, the Europeans always built forts on the north bank of the estuary. It was definitely near a sea and it was definitely near the river.
Last முடிச்சிடுறேன். Caldwell has written about Tamil language. He has written about Madras name. I got it, I sent you later. He says Madil Chavar Pattanam. அதான் மதராஸ்.
சார் விஜயநகர் எம்பையரில் ஒரு கல்வெட்டு இருக்குது சார். நீலாங்கரைப்பட்டினம், புதுப்பட்டினம், மாதரசன்பட்டினம் இருக்குது. நேம் அதே ஆர்டரில், இந்த ஈசிஆரில் நீங்கள் வருவீங்கல்ல அதே ஆர்டரில் இருக்குது. பட் வி ஆர் ஜஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்ட்ராபுலேட்டிங். ஏதோ ஒரு சான்ஸ் வரட்டுமே. வாட் எல்ஸ் வில் யூ டாக் அபவுட்? எவ்வளோ ஃபிக்ஸ்டாக இருந்தோன்னா மெட்ராஸ் could be anything.
Father Madhura which you got, there is another story.
Madra.
We'll take one more question if anybody has. Otherwise, we'll.
But very interesting.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Any one question? Anybody wants to ask? We are okay. Second president. Thank you, Mr. Venkatesh, for a very informative and entertaining talk. On behalf of Tamil Heritage, we have a small gift for you. We don't have the next month's meeting, December first Saturday meeting, because we have the Pechu Kacheri. We will send you the schedule for the Pechu Kacheri on Mahabalipuram. Roughly, it will happen around the 24th and 25th. It's a 2-day event. All talks on Mahabalipuram, talks by various scholars. And the next monthly lecture will be on the January first Saturday. Thank you all for coming.
Please look up Adayar Cultural Mapping on Facebook. Join us in this exploration river. You can also join us for the walks and these one-day trips that we are.